Let's freaking go! SoFi investors, we finally had a great week. We had a fun day this morning and this afternoon as SoFi climbed in that $18.50 range. We're seemingly out of the doldrums for now, at least. We got down to 15 bucks per share. We bounced off that several times. Now we're back above $18 per share. I want to go through the news cycle. It's crazy how fast things can change here in the stock market, where everyone is cursing at me, calling me an idiot, calling me a homer, every horrible thing you could potentially say about a person people have said about me in the comments as I put out more and more and more SoFi content. But you know what, guys? I really don't care at all whatsoever. Say whatever you want. Like I always say, the stock doesn't always reflect the business, and the business doesn't always reflect the stock. We're kind of in that situation right now. I think fair value for SoFi is around 25 bucks per share. 23 to 25 bucks. We're in the $18 range. We were a little overvalued in that $32, $33 range. Very undervalued at $15 per share. I hope you've been accumulating. As you know, I own right around 8,000 shares of SoFi stock. I'm going to get into where I think this stock is going potentially in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Why is the stock suddenly running up? Is it retail buying? Is it institutional investors buying? We're going to go over what I think about that. Go over the news cycle. Here we go. Let's get into it. All right, all my SoFi investors, make sure you hit that like button, the hype button, and please subscribe to the channel. We're only like 30 subs away from 5K, so do me a favor, subscribe to the channel to get all my stock market and SoFi content. I'm really excited for today's video. Take a look at your screen right now. And if you want to check out SoFi Invest or the SoFi Checking and Savings account, I use them both. They're pretty awesome. Use my link in the description down below. You get 25 free bucks in each one of those accounts if you sign up using my link. Okay, here we go. Great day, up over 7%. Over the past week, up 16%. Looking pretty damn juicy right now. It's just so funny. If we take a look here at the news cycle over the last 24 hours, 48 hours, SoFi stock jumps as SoFi USD stablecoin and growth outlook impress. The growth outlook hasn't changed at all since the last earnings report where the stock plummeted. So it just makes no sense. A lot of clickbait headlines, so be careful as the stock moves up. As the stock moves up, you should be buying less. And as the stock goes down, you should be buying more if you have conviction in any particular stock. That's kind of my philosophy as I move forward. Down 30% from its high, SoFi is speeding towards aggressive long-term profits. No shit. We've been talking about that for months and years and whatever you want to call it. From when it was 6 bucks up to 32 bucks, down to 15 bucks on this roller coaster ride where we're all losing your mind and everyone's cursing me out. Just take a breath, guys. The company's doing great. The stock will eventually catch up to the performance of the company as long as they continue to add members, grow on the top and bottom line, and expand the overall business, right? Here we go. SoFi stock soars after stablecoin launch, but needs to break 20 bucks. Speaking of that, I don't think it's quite $20. We went over a little T&A yesterday. Let's just go back and take a look at where we're at. Technical analysis can kind of give us a gauge on the 50-day, 100-day, 200-day moving average and the trajectory and overall trends for these benchmarks, right? So we crossed the 5-day, 20-day, 50-day, and we are knocking at the doorstep of blasting through this 100-day average of $19.18. And I think we crossed that before earnings, which are set to be July 28th. We still got 2 months, guys, before that happens. But I think during that time period, we could potentially sniff this 200-day moving average of 23.21. Will we get there? I'm not sure. It's only been a couple days of really great momentum. So let's see how next week and the week after play out. Are we going to move up a little bit and then stabilize, move up a little bit and then stabilize? Or are we just going to keep rocketing up to the right? We don't know. Maybe we give up a little bit of the gains that we had this week. Next week, maybe get down in that 1750, 1785 range. Who knows? Or do we keep the positive momentum and hold over $19 per share next week? I think if we do that, It's a great sign for the company moving forward across the summer. I said in a lot of my videos early on this year, probably in like February, March, where I think that SoFi is going to do really well this summer. I don't think any rate hikes are coming. I don't think any rate cuts are coming either, right? So the market likes certainty, and I think SoFi will do a lot better once rate hikes are gone for good and we start to lower the rates. I think the SoFi business model will work better in a lower rate environment. So these type of products that they have are a little more stomachable, per se, for people who want loans. No one wants to take out a loan at 6 or 7%. Even 5% sucks. But if they start cutting rates, will they cut rates this year? It depends. If this war ends and inflation starts to come down, maybe we get one towards the end of the year, but I doubt it. We're probably going to look towards the beginning of next year for the first rate cut in a long time. That's kind of where I'm at with the stock. But these are big numbers. I don't think $20 is a number. I think the 100-day moving average of 1918 is the number we need to look out for, and then eventually 23, 21. Once we cross the 200-day moving average, I think that could be sending us to that $25 to $28 range sooner rather than later. We'll have to see how the next earnings report is and see if we're still growing and still adding a shit ton of members. That's going to be huge for us moving forward. But yeah, I mean, if you take a look how much things have changed over the last 48 hours, time to buy, aggressive long-term profits, growth outlook, and press. You guys, we can't, as investors, get bogged down in the sensationalization of the news cycle, right? The news is sensationalized now, whether it's dealing with Trump and the war, Fox News versus CNN, what's hot, what's not. Just do your own research. Don't get caught up in all this bullshit, whether it's good or bad. There's a great quote that Tom Hanks always says, where this too shall pass. The stock's running high, you're feeling great, you feel like a genius. Well, this too shall pass. And also, if it's looking shitty, you want to sell all your shares, you want to punch Jay in the face for telling you to buy SoFi stock, that feeling shall pass too, right? So we got to just ride out the highs and the lows, be like water, still, and just stick with our conviction, and you will be where you want to be. When this stock is $30, $35, $40, $45 per share over the next couple of years, and you're going to be like, I'm very glad I stayed the course here with SoFi. I definitely think the stable coin has helped with retail buying the stock. We'll get into that in a little bit. But SoFi USD becomes the first stable coin issued by a U.S. national bank to launch on a banking platform. Huge. This potentially could be the future of the way banks transact with these digital assets, right? So we'll have to see how this plays out long term. All right, SoFi investors, here's a quote about the stable coin from CEO Anthony Noto. At SoFi, we believe we can combine the speed and versatility of the blockchain with the trust of a bank to improve on how money moves around the world. This is where they want to go, to be able to transact across borders, across states quickly. People want to get their money quick with low fees. That's where the world is going. And Anthony Noto is projecting that this stable coin will be valuable across all different banking platforms. That's why he's getting in early with this stable coin. And it being issued, the first bank, U.S. National Bank, to launch one, huge, 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 huge. So why do I think the stock has moved up considerably over the last couple of days? I don't think it's institutions buying. I think it's retail buying. The institutional owners over the last several days is about the same. The institutional shares owned about the same. And if we take a look here on the 13F filings, only 2 today. And that's really all this week. So not a lot of companies are adding, these institutions are adding to their position of SoFi. We've seen some new ones over the last week and a half or whatever, but this week, not a lot of action at all whatsoever. So retail and non-institutional investors are the ones adding to their positions and pushing the stock up. And for me, it's probably some shorts covering with all this positivity. I mean, shorting a company like SoFi with all this positive trajectory seems pretty risky business to me. That's why I don't really like shorting companies. But I think it's retail pushing the stock up right now. But with that comes the volatility. So if retail starts getting scared chicken shit again, then the shares are going to sell off like an MF pretty quick. Just keep that in mind. If you're continuing to add to your position, I would add slowly. All right, SoFi investors, as we're looking forward to the rest of the year, I want to see institutional owners cross about 1,000. We're adding about 50 to where they're currently at. Institutional shares right now at 808 million. I want to see that cross 850 million before the end of the year. If those things can happen and nothing crazy goes on with the war, things don't get worse, inflation stabilizes, I think this stock could be anywhere from $25 to $35 by the end of the year. I think there's going to be a Santa Claus rally this year, a big one, because rate cuts could be in store very, very shortly after the new year. I also think S&P 500 inclusion is right around the corner as well. It's probably going to happen maybe the end of this year or early next year, in my opinion. It always happens a little bit later than people initially project, but I think end of this year, early next year, we could see that inclusion, and then institutional ownership will continue to kick up, which ultimately stabilizes the stock long term, in my opinion. All right, that's kind of what's going on with SoFi right now. As we head into the weekend, we'll see where we go next week as the stock hit over 18 bucks. Can we stabilize, kind of get a new floor at that $18 range, and then we could push up towards $19, $20, $21, and hopefully soon get to that 200-day moving average of around 23 bucks. If we cross that, I think the sky's the limit for the rest of the summer and the rest of the year. I think we could be, like I said, $25 to $35 by the end of the year. That's a huge increase of where we're at right now. Almost a double up. Man, buying at 15 bucks was a great deal. I hope you added some shares. I know I did. Thank you again for tuning into the channel. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.